Tonight's episode of the 31st Lap Podcast is brought to you by DirtTrackDigest.com. If it's on dirt, it's on Dirt Track Digest.
This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the 31st Lap, episode number 259 on deck tonight. Excited to have you along for the ride with us this evening. Coming to you, it's been a little while since we have been together. Lots of stuff has happened in the racing world. We're going to be touching on some of that as we work through this episode together. We're coming up on that magic number 300. We should be hitting that after the turn of the year, so looking forward to that. Crash Course on Monday nights is hitting episode number 300 coming up this Monday, so that's kind of cool. Looking forward to talking with our guest this evening, Mike Mallett, who's fresh off of the activities over there for the Gobbler over the weekend. Mike, man, thanks for coming on the show. It's always good to catch up with you.
No problem. Always a pleasure to be on. It's been a while again.
It has. It's been a bit of an interlude, but nonetheless, here we are, sitting around 41 episodes away from number 300. So we'll be gaining some ground on that. You've had a very busy 2019 year. Is the racing for this year now done with the Gobbler, or do you have more stuff on deck?
Well, I think I'm going to go watch some go-kart racing this weekend. I got a little streak going where I've had a race once a month for almost 4 consecutive years this December. So I figured I got to keep the streak alive here. I can't let it die.
Right, you got to go do something.
Yeah, right. Hey, you got to go. I got Christmas break coming up. I guess I could travel south, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for driving.
So, four straight years with at least one race a month, that's pretty impressive being situated in Oswego when you think about it.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's easy because you start, you get indoor racing in January, February. You go to Florida. Then March, things start picking up here in New York. I'd say 2 years ago, there was a March trip. I had to make a 4-hour ride out to Ohio to get a race in just because, or 5-hour ride out to Ohio to get a race in just because everything in New York, we lost all of March, so
right.
I didn't have a choice.
Right.
I had to do what I had to do.
The more you're traveling coming up, it's starting to seem like let's do the Gobbler first. The Gobbler's the big news from that one. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. A belated Happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you enjoyed some time with friends and family, and hopefully all the hunters went out there and found bucks big enough to mount on your wall. The Gobbler happening, that sort of closes the outdoor season for 2019, barring anything crazy or novelty that might come up in the interim. You had the chance to work on that show and help build it up. How successful was it?
Worked out well. I had a great time helping out Gary and Donna Palmer down at the Accord Speedway. Great people, Had a chance to know Gary for a long time. One of the first tracks I started writing out of was Accord.
Right.
Back in the day for Fire on Dirt, now Dirt Track Digest. But it was great to be a part of that event. Got to get back on the mic, and it was like a reunion of sorts. I got to announce with Tim Pitts.
Right.
So that changed things up a little bit. It was different because my first year announcing, I worked at Afton by myself, and I worked at Tim Pitts at Middletown, announcing Pro Stocks and Pure Stocks, and got to call my one and only Eastern States 200 that year. So it was fun. Tim and I back together. It was a good time. Tim was a lot of fun to work with, and I enjoyed it. And hopefully I'll get to work on them again in the future. It's always fun to kind of go back to your roots, if you will, and do something different and have fun. And Saturday was fun. No pressure because it's not my weekly track. I don't have all the same things you got to deal with. You know how it is when you work weekly. You work at Utica Roma, a lot of work, a lot of different stuff involved in being the weekly announcer versus the guy that shows up once on a Saturday in November to call a race. So I had a good time. It was a lot of fun, and then what the hell, man? I got to see modifieds in the end of November. It doesn't get much better than that. Let's be fair.
Right.
And considering the next day we got 12 feet of snow. Down there they got a ton more snow than here. That makes it even sweeter almost. That we just got it in because and I know had we canceled on Saturday because of unforeseen circumstances, weather, whatever. There's no way we were running this Saturday.
No.
So it's pretty neat to get that last show in, and and it was freaking cold. I mean, I was fortunate that I was in the booth. We had a space heater, so it was a balmy 66 degree in the tower all night. But it was still, you walk out of the tower, and I really, my hat's off to all the fans that showed up and attended the Gobbler. I mean, they're diehards. I mean, there was probably a good 300-400 people still there when the Enduro was on the track. And those people, you got to be a freaking diehard to stay through for the end to watch an Enduro when it's 28 degrees out. So, I mean, that is, me personally, I don't know if I would do it. Well, you never know. Actually, we got an Enduro coming up at Utica Rome on New Year's Day, but it was again a fun experience, great time.
Sure.
Decent racing. Of course, we're broadcasting on Dirt Track Digest TV, so that was extra cool too. So, all in all, good day, a lot of fun. And if you didn't know, I mean, obviously Andy Bicchetti, that's 2 in a row now. He won it back in 2017,
right,
and then got it done here this past Saturday, giving him 2 in a row. Now that matches Anthony Perego with 2 Goblin wins apiece, if you will. So who will reign supreme in the next one, we don't know. But in talking with Gary, I've had a chance to chat with him since, and looks like it seems like it'll be back next year. So hopefully I can be a part of it again and get the chance to help out like I did this year, because again it was a good time.
You made reference there to Dirt Track Digest TV. It seemed like there was a lot of foot traffic and interest at the trade show up in Syracuse that Jeremy Corcoran puts on, the Northeast Racing Products Trade Show. Where's that going? Is it? I mean, obviously it's probably a little early to expect that everything is finalized, but is it going to expand?
We're already making our 2019 plans. We've had some good 2020 plans.
Right.
That's some great conversations, with some different tracks, different promoters, and I think you'll be surprised to see some of the things we're able to do next year. But we kick it off here bright and early. We're back at it. With Brett Deo's Sunshine Series down in Florida, so we're looking forward to that. Any chance you get a part or an opportunity to be part of events in Florida, that's a good thing. And Brett Deo's Sunshine Series heads down for 3 nights of racing, and that's coming up again on February 6th, 7th, and 8th. Practice on the 5th, so we'll be there, Dirt Track Digest TV, and we'll be on the scene, and we'll be covering all the Short Track Super Series events from Alltech Raceway in February. So that's something we're really excited about. We're back together with Brett Dale for 2020 with the Short Track Super Series events at Fonda, Georgetown. And I think we've got some cool things working there. So, I'm pumped. I mean, we started this not quite sure where we'd end up or where it'd go. And, we've seen some great growth here the last few years. And, we're really excited to see it moving forward. We know, you expected it to be good. Our goal was always to try to be, the one-stop shop for all things dirt modified racing. When we bought the site 5 years ago or 6 years ago, crap, I can't even remember. It's been so long now. But we wanted to be that one-stop shop. You and I talked about it. We had some conversations with different people and so on, and that was our goal. And I think, we are rapidly getting there. The other thing I'm really excited about, not just our TV stuff, but our YouTube presence. We decided the Centennial race this year to start doing YouTube videos and recap videos. And my good buddy Jeremy Elliott, who owns SprintCarUnlimited.com, does a ton of stuff with YouTube on his site, with video driver interviews and recap videos and highlights and all that kind of stuff. And we decided, I think it's time. Let's try this out. So we tried it with just a regular. Basically, we took my 6D or Canon 6D camera, put a microphone on top of it, kind of Bruce and myself at the Centennial weekend, and people loved it. It's gone great. So we're like, yeah, what the hell? Let's go all in on this. So we bought ourselves a nice camera, tripod, microphones, the whole deal, and hey, here we are.
Right.
So, that's coming along great. We need a few more subscribers. We're up to 770 or 750, whatever it is, here in only 3 months. So I'm not disappointed where we're at. It's just we need to grow a little bit more, and hopefully this winter we'll be able to do that. I got some big plans. To go to some driver shops, sit down with them, chat with them, and do some interviews with them, and do something a little bit non-racing related. It's going to be racing, don't get me wrong, but it's also going to be, hey, talk about growing up in racing. What else can you do? What do you want to do outside of racing? What's the plans, the goals, and all that?
Right.
I think DirtCar did a fantastic job. World Racing Group. They had an interview with Donnie Schatz, and they had a journalist from outside of racing come in and do a one-on-one with Donnie Schatz, and it's one of the most fantastic interviews I've watched. You get to really get to know Donnie Schatz. You know, and you get to see the Donnie that outside of the racetrack. You know, the
Right.
Donnie that's not worried about racing. You know, still talk racing. Don't get me wrong, but you know, you get to see him as a person, and that's really what I want to do. I want to try to do that. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it because I don't know how good I'm going to be at it, but you know, that's the hope. You know, and I got some guys lined up. A lot of interest. A lot of guys messaged me, wanted to do it, wanted to try it. So hey, we'll see. You know, I was joking with Mike Bowman and Matt Williamson at the dirt car banquet. They want me to come out because they play hockey on Monday nights. So they want me to come out on a Monday night and hang out with them at the hockey rink. Which
Right.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. So we're going to try to fit that in, hopefully, somewhere down the road. And I know I've talked with Cody Blue and Mike Maresca. We've talked about doing some history stuff because they're both history dorks like myself, big into history. So I want to see if we can maybe go to a battlefield, the three of us together, and do some video from the battlefield.
Right.
You know, just something different, you know, and I think that'd be cool. And I mean, that's something I'm excited about doing. I don't know how much race fans would be excited about that, but I think it would just be neat to give people a different perspective of these guys and see, hey, look, we all have other interests besides just racing. And let's be fair, though, racing's the number one thing, you know, at the end of the day.
Well, doesn't it humanize them? I mean, at one point you're standing there and you're rooting for somebody, and there's potential that you've never seen this person. I don't want to say that because that's not fair with the open pit access and stuff like that. So that's probably not fair. But you've never seen them.
Like, you don't get to see these guys often. I mean, you see their Facebook pages and stuff like that, but you don't get to, you know, see what they do away from the race. You know, like Mike Maresca and I had I talked to him after he finished third at Charlotte, and we chatted for 10 minutes about the race itself. He got third. It was great. It was awesome. Then when I spent 45 minutes just bull crapping about Gettysburg. He went to Gettysburg for the first time.
Right.
So it was awesome. We talked history. We're going back and forth. Like, we need to do this. We need to go here. Yeah, let's try. You know, like, so we've been trying to set something up at some point. Hopefully, be able to get together and again. I know Cody Blue's another kid. You know, guy that race modified the Honda. Loves history. He was texting me photos from the Saratoga battlefield the other day, and then I saw him at the car show. We were talking about it. I'm like, dude, I gotta come out. You gotta give me the tour. We gotta do it. You know, so it's neat. You know, and again, anybody that knows me knows I'm a history teacher, and I mean, if I wasn't racing, I'd be a Civil War reenactor or a Civil War battlefield every weekend. That's my other passion. You know, that's what I love. So it's kind of cool for me to see other guys in the sport that I love that love the history element of stuff too. So
sure.
You know, that's exciting. So, and again, who knows? We'll see. We've got some other guys, other people that message me. I know Matt Tanner wants me to come down. Spoke with LJ Lombardo. You know, he's in. So I think we got some different guys in a wide assortment of people. And you know, Billy Van Pelt has messaged me a couple times about coming down to their shop. So with Dylan Groover too. So I think that'd be great. You know, just sit down and you can have some cool conversations. Again, it doesn't have to be racing all the time.
Right.
You know, I've heard that from, you know, George Smith, Outlaw Photos, who go in DTD. He goes, you know, Mike, there's more to life than racing. I go, George, that's a great theory you got there. You know, because, again, it's hard because you get so wrapped up in it, you know, in the summertime. Like,
right.
it's really hard to find, you know, to get yourself out of that bubble because it's just, you know how it is. Once you're, like, you're all in on your derby stuff, you know, and when you get in that bubble and that's all you focus on, that's all you think about, and you don't realize all the other stuff you're kind of missing when you're doing all that.
Well, this year actually, we didn't have nearly as many dates. I only did maybe 3 or 4. Versus.
So that's because I made you go to the racetrack more often.
Well, between that and in the vein of what you were mentioning there in terms of realizing what you're missing, I was able to be around. I was able to be around my kids for the first time. You know, Alan, really, this is maybe the first summer that I've been around all summer long since he was born. I mean, he's 10, you know. We've been chasing the racing stuff and chasing the derby stuff for so long that, you know, you don't realize all the stuff that you're missing. And, you know, we did a bunch of soccer games and we did some basketball. And then there's other times where we just played outside, which was kind of nice, too.
Mm-hmm. That's fun.
It is.
But and again, I even took it for myself. I took a weekend, you know, a couple weekends off, you know, just to recuperate per se, and It was nice. You know, there was a lot of big races this year that we covered, and it was fun. But then there was just nice where, you know, I put the phone down and Kenny Bruce who writes for DTD, helped me out with doing the Twitter. He does that a lot for me when I need a break. He'll help me out with Twitter updates and stuff. And, it's nice just to say, I need a break.
Right.
I need to rejuvenate. Normally when I get home from Knoxville, usually that's the burnout factor. I get home from Knoxville and I'm like, I'm done with racing. I've just gone 15 days in a row. I am tired and I need a break. And this year, I didn't really get that break because we were, it was right back to Centennial weekend. So it was, it was tough because I didn't get that time off that I'm so used to. So
sure.
But it was, it was fun and enjoyable. But again, we'll see what this year brings. Looking forward to it now. I hate life because it's like I'm so freaking bored. There's nothing going on.
Well, now's the time to do all that shooting stuff. In theory, the cars are taken apart, so there's a lot of stuff to look at, a lot of stuff to talk about in terms of the race car. But then you've also got the opportunity with the
it's a
hockey.
shame when they take all the body panels off. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. So,
well, maybe you could go take a couple classes. Go to a couple shops. Go maybe pick up some.
Right.
Pick up some tips. Are you familiar with Jerry Seinfeld's Comedians in Cars with Coffee?
Yeah. I've seen that a few times.
I mean, you're kind of dipping your toe in that kind of water with some of these offshoot ideas for the YouTube content.
Right.
I think there's value there. More than just humanizing and showing that these guys have interests elsewhere than racing. It also, that illustrates that the fact that they have personalities beyond the wide open off of turn 4 carrying a left front tire too.
Right.
Interesting. When you started going with all this stuff, especially with the live element, because that's something it's a tough nut to crack. Expectations were metered, but hopes were high. So, would you say that you've hit what you wanted to do for this year?
Say that again. Sorry.
With all the live streaming stuff that you guys endeavored this year, it certainly got better as the year went on. And did you hit all the goals that you wanted to accomplish? I mean, do you have goals of sometime Dirt Track Digest being the production company that goes out and does, the Boone Nationals or something like that, or is it focused up here?
I think what we've learned over time and what we've learned. Where we are. This year, if you noticed, I didn't do as much of the sprint car stuff that I used to do. You know what I mean? I used to do a ton of 410 sprint car stuff during the summer, et cetera, and then in the fall. And this year, I kind of cut that back. I did the Kings Royal, I did the Knoxville Nationals, did a few weekly shows, Williams Grove, whatever. But I've kind of. In talking with our guys and everything else, our focus needs to be on the modified stuff. That's what people come to us for predominantly. And that was really where we put our focus this year was, ongoing modified racing. So, I skipped the National Open this year for the first time, and God knows I can't tell you how long.
Right. Painful.
So,
Painful to miss.
Yeah, it's part of it, though. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to, you got to understand that sometimes, I don't want to say this is a job. I mean, it's a job, let's be fair. It's a 4 or 5 hour job at night during racing season, but it's, if you want to build something, you want to grow it, you got to step out and do the things that the people on your site want.
Right.
And coming with that comes from sacrifice on the sprint car side of things. I know people on DTD, they have other options for sprint car news, et cetera, and they're not really sprint car people, no matter how much I want them to be. They prefer modified stuff. And again, we get traffic on the sprint car stuff and on all that, but the modified stuff is our bread and butter, and we know that, and that's why, we've put more of an emphasis on covering as much modified stuff as we can this year. So, I thought, we did some different, bigger races and some more races that we missed maybe in the past this year. So, I think that's going to be the direction we go going forward. Right. And, I'm okay with it. I'll still get my sprint car fixed, at the beginning of the year, et cetera. But when it comes down to the big shows for modified, that's where you'll find us. So, I know, we've worked. We got Bobby Sweeney now taking a little bit more involvement. Younger kid finishing up his college degree in education. Down to his master's now, so good for him.
Right.
But starting to get things going in that direction, and he's been helping us out. Went to Charlotte with us this year for the first time, and he's helped out with the recap videos and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be our focus moving forward. I'm still going to go to the Kings Royal, and I'm still going to go to the Knoxville National. So don't sprint car fans don't want to tear me down here, but it's just again, the modified stuff is our cup of tea and our bread and butter, and that's what our focus will be here. And I think that goes hand in hand with the pay-per-view stuff. Most of our pay-per-view stuff is modified stuff.
Right.
We do some Empire Super Sprint events as well, but predominantly it's modified oriented, and that's what we're going to focus on.
How tough is it working with the racing series themselves? Somebody like you've contracted again with the Short Track Super Series and Brett Dale Motorsports for 2020 again. How difficult is putting something like that together? Because there's so many variables when it comes to live streaming. I know we've had this conversation on the show before.
You got to have somebody that's open to it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and understands the importance and the value of it.
Mm-hmm.
You still deal with promoters that are not looking at the modern day where we're at. You know what I mean? We've been very fortunate. Bill and Kim Shea at Utica Rome, when we started this whole deal, they were very skeptical of it and very not sure,
right?
Whether they were going to like it or not, or, what their thoughts were going to be on it. And, fortunately, we've been able to show through our numbers and things like that it's not something that we think hurts attendance, when you start looking at numbers and where people come from and where they're buying the event from, it's traditionally, on the side of us saying, look, these are people that are probably not going to come anyways.
Right.
But you still have people that are just completely against it. They don't see any value in it, and they don't want to do it. You know what? We respect them. That's their choice. You know what I mean? We can't. You can't force anybody to change and see the value in what you do. You hope that maybe someday they'll change their minds, but that's all part of it, though. I mean, and I know we're in an area in the Northeast that's traditionally a little bit more difficult. But, because it's a little bit more cutthroat here with the promoters because there's so many racetracks.
Right. There's
and,
there's a finite number of cars.
And I understand it's tough. This is a tough game. There, we're all in.
Right.
Modified racing is not. I mean, car counts are up in that sense. Like the sportsman and all that, it's great. But tracks aren't necessarily doing as well as they used to do. I went to some races this year, and I really felt bad for promoters. Just because of you look at the grandstands, you're like, man, it's just not a good night.
No.
And they raced when the weather was maybe iffy or they took a chance on something that, a midweek show that maybe they traditionally wouldn't do, but they said, well, let's give it a shot. It just didn't work. Now, on the other side, you have Brett Dale and some of the things he did this year, and Brett, he's got things going right now, and good for him. And for me, I'm a Fonda Speedway homer. Anybody wants to call me that, go ahead. I grew up going to Fonda. I went to Fonda for 18 years, regularly. So, I was happy to see Fonda do well, and I liked, Pete DiMatrezza before Brett, and I like Rick Lucia and Matty D and all the people that have been at Fonda. I've always tried to support them and what they do because, again, that was my original home, of what,
right.
Where I started and where I was, fell in love with dirt racing.
Mm-hmm.
So, you see good things happening and you're happy, and we're fortunate. Brett sees the value of what we do. He sees the value in pay-per-view and understands how well it can do, how well it can help his series and promote his series, and hey, that's good for us. And hopefully, I think we've proven to him that it's good for him. So, that's kind of how things go. And again, I think our area is a different animal than other places that you go. You're fighting a lot of different elements and working with a lot of different elements and a lot of different sanctionings, a lot of different people, and trying to make everybody happy. And that's a challenge at times.
No doubt it is. You were talking about some of the good stuff that's happening. Thunder Mountain Speedway news breaking there prior to Thanksgiving that the 358 division and their Crate Sportsman division are both going to be operating under the dirt car banner. which is going to be pretty cool. They got Dirt Car Sportsman and Dirt Car 358s. There's going to be a combined big block, small block program there as well. They've got the rookie and budget sportsman division that's going to be running there weekly. And then a bunch of drivers are talking about making the move up. We've got a bunch of drivers with some local ties. Bob Henry Jr. was the one that jumped off the page first. We remember he's been in and around the Finger Lakes here, especially the northeastern part up with Fulton and Brewerton. We've seen him run quite a bit up there. Shane Pecor moving up as well. He's won up at Oswego. I think it was 2 years ago in the sports division. He's going to be moving up to small blocks. And Dylan Evo going to be moving up as well. And I think I saw one of the McAuliffes is moving up to modifieds, right?
Yeah, yep. Adam McAuliffe making the jump, Hoyanga Racing. So he'll be making the move into the modified ranks. And, it's good. You need that. That's the bottom line. You need these different drivers to move up. I mean, that's what we've all wanted for how long? And that was kind of the hope when you saw the sportsman division grow like it's grown, that it would lead to more drivers wanting to run modifieds, more drivers having the ability to run modifieds, and making the move. And I think right now with the ability to get a cheaper 358 engine, a spec engine, and the different things, I think that is a major factor in allowing like a Dylan Evoy, a Shane Pecor, those kind of guys to move up and realize that they can be competitive in that modified division.
Evoy's been out. He hasn't been in a car in a couple of years, right?
Who's that?
Evoy's been out for a couple of years, isn't he?
I'm not sure. I'm not positive on that one. He's a Canadian, and I do my best to keep up with the Canadians, but I don't necessarily do my best.
Pecor was in modifieds a couple of years ago, and now he's coming back around to the 358s, and there's the changes over to the 358 division with all those tracks basically going right up the center of the state, leading right up to basically the front door of Cornwall. It's helped a ton. I mean, Can-Am, Fulton, Utica Rome, and Cornwall all running the 358s, and now with Thunder Mountain coming on board with that as well, is giving these guys some places, and that was what the whole goal was. When the Crate Sportsmen were introduced, it was supposed to be eventually that they would move up to 358s, and then from 358s they would move up as well. And we hadn't quite seen that turnover until we got that network of tracks working together under the same rules, and the 358 class really took off. They got rid of the big blocks in full, at least from the top of the marquee, I'll put it that way. And the 358s,
the 358s awesome. Look, that was the hope, as you said. You wanted to make it affordable so guys could move into the modified ranks. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're seeing. I mean, look, we switched to 358 Utica Rome, and we saw our car counts go up.
Right.
You've seen every track that has decided to go just 358s, you've seen the car counts go up. So it's because, again, those guys that run sportsmen that are good, like Dave Marchicelli. I mean, Dave Marchicelli dominated sportsmen.
Yes.
He made the move this year. He won his first Dirt Car 358 Series race. He won at Fulton. That's good to see. That shows that the talent, works. We saw Rocky Warner really get his first shot in modified ranks, and look what Rocky did at Fonda. I mean, he's great at Fonda.
Amazing year at Fonda, really. He had a great year.
Right. And again, running for Jake Spraker and won the track championship. And, I mean, I was there a couple of Saturdays, and I watched him pass Stuart Friesen to get wins. Mm-hmm. That don't happen normally, because Stewie's good at Fonda. And now Stewie came back and proved that he was $53,000 good at the 200. But and Rocky was there with him, though. I mean, who ended up second in that race? Rocky won. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's good for racing to see guys moving up. And as you know, that jump from sportsman to big block was just too much for a lot of guys. So now at least you have that middle of the road stepping stone where they can, go to the 358s, and who knows, maybe we'll see them eventually in a big block.
Jackson Gill, he announced a couple weeks ago that he's going to be moving up to the 358s as well.
Yeah, there's another one.
And Bob Henry, again, coming back to run the 358 division. We're going to see him at Fulton along with some other stops sporadically here and there. It's going to be another team, another family-prepared car, which is good. He was in and out of different rides for a couple different drivers. He ended up getting a win in the sportsman class last year at Fulton, but it's nice to see that he's going to be back in there. But, I mean, the demands of his exhaust company have basically made it impossible for him to work on his own car.
Right.
The unfortunate news on the flip side of this, with all the talk about Florida racing coming up, which is only a couple months away at this point, 2 months away, is that Plattsburgh Airborne Speedway might not operate in 2020. That dominated a lot of the conversations when we were up at Syracuse a couple weeks back.
Yeah. I mean, that's unfortunate. Hopefully something happens there and somebody's able to step up and help out the team up there. I mean, I've had a lot of good conversation with Robbie Knowles, who served as the promoter this year. And Robbie's just a good guy, hardworking guy. He much like how much I love Honda, just because of my relationship there with growing up there. Robbie's spent the years at Plattsburgh Airborne Speedway, and I can feel his pain and understand, what he's going through with not, the uncertainty of what's going on there. And he did a fantastic job, I thought, of making things better there this year than they had been in the past. Unfortunately, the owners just, I guess we've lost a lot of money here the last few years.
Yeah.
I do know in our conversations this year was better. Still wasn't where they want to be, but it was better than years past. So, hopefully somebody steps up and gives Robbie and that team up there another opportunity, because I really think, Robbie's the right person for the job. His passion and his love of Airborne is second to none. And I think if given the right people and the right circumstances, he could get that place to where it can be profitable and do well for somebody if they take over. So, again, he got 1 year, unfortunately, and that's tough. And he made improvements, major improvements,
right,
in terms of attendance and what they were able to do with their product and so on. So hopefully, he gets another opportunity to keep Airborne going.
Dylan Stewart won the Turkey Derby over at Wall Speedway, right? Wall Stadium?
Yeah, Dylan Stewart, youngster, runs on the pavement regularly in asphalt modifieds down on Long Island. I can never remember the name of the track on Long Island. What is it? It's a small circle, too. It's gonna drive me nuts, but eventually I'll get there. But, yeah, he got it done down there, and good for him, Youngster get it done, and he made some passes in the modified race, which is tough to do. So he was able to get it done and make some passes, do what he needed to do, and got it done. Hold on, I'm looking up the name of the track right now because it's going to drive me nuts that I don't know. It's not Chemung, it's on Delaware. What the heck is the name of it? Riverhead, there we go. Riverhead race. So he's won some sportsman races there, and modified races there, so good for him. And, I guess you could say that was one of the final modified races of the year, too, between Accord and there. I don't really consider it that, though. It's on pavement. Come on.
We're towing around some track news, and Bridgeport is being reconfigured again. I remember when the big news was that they had come down from the 5/8, and then the big news was they went back out to the 5/8, and now they're coming back down to a half mile again.
Yeah.
What? I guess why?
Be,
do you know?
Be interesting. I mean, he wants to make it. I believe Doug Rose, the new promoter, new owner of the place, wants to make it like a Lawrenceburg Speedway. Mm-hmm. I got to go to Lawrenceburg for the first time this year, and it's an awesome place.
Right.
Big, wide open, pretty badass. Mm-hmm. So, I'm hoping he can pull it off and get it done, because that'd be pretty fantastic. It's sad to see a track go, per se, the 5/8. But and just talking to guys that race there and that, it's fine. It was really tough on motors, tough place to compete and afford to race weekly. So, you know what? If the changes keep the place open, keep the car counts up, and help everybody be more successful, hey, I'm all for it.
Sure.
Because again, you don't want to see anybody close. In all reality, you want to see every racetrack owner make money. You want to see drivers make money. You want to see everybody be successful. If something's not successful, you got to make a drastic change, and I mean make the drastic change.
You're talking about the Sunshine Series down at Alltech Raceway in I think that's in Lake City, right? Lake City, Florida. For the Short Track Super Series. Are you going to be able to get down there for that?
Yes. I'm going to be able to go. I'm going to fly out Wednesday night meet GT Smith, another co-owner of DTD, and Bill Foley in Tampa on Wednesday, and then we're going to head up to Alltech for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I'm going to use my last 2 personal days for that on Thursday and Friday, then fly home, and then I'll head back down to Florida on Friday, just in time to catch the Saturday night of Volusia for the Dirt Car Nationals. Cool. And then I got the week off after, which is nice because I'll just stay in Florida and spend time at the beach. George Smith has had a timeshare at the beach for a number of years now. I think the GT was a kid, and GT just turned 36, so he's had it for a long time. And we'll probably head over to the 500. My parents are coming down for the first time; they've never been, so
nice.
Take them. They want me to go to the 500. I've been the last 3 years. I'm like, I guess. Look, it's fun. It's a great experience, but it's like 200 miles, 200 laps. It's a long day. It's hot. I'm in the sun. Again, I shouldn't be complaining because, I know in February up here it's freezing cold and you're in the snow, but
right.
It's like, it's a fun day, but it's a long day. With the traffic and everything you're fighting with. But
when Ed Brewster came,
they've never been, and my mom's like, well, if we're going, you're going. I'm like, I guess.
When Ed Brewster was up from Virginia, I was talking with his mom. His mom loves the Finger Lakes, loves coming up here, and she's been up here a couple times. I think she's going to make the trip up again in February, and she's got a rude awakening coming. But nonetheless, she was up here with Ed for some of the RC activities up there at the Northeast Racing Products Trade Show. And we got talking about the weather, and down there in where she's from in Richmond, it's not quite the same as winter is up here. They're in the mountains, but it still isn't nearly as intense. They have a little bit more of an issue than ice than we do, and they don't put salt on the roads. They use sand. But we were talking. It's basically her mind was blown that basically Super Dirt Week gets here and the sun goes behind a cloud, and we don't see the sun again until like April.
I think that's about accurate.
And she's like, well, I just don't understand. I'm like, when you go to work, it's dark out, and when you're at work, it's gray, and when you leave to go home from work, it's dark out again, and it's like that from basically November 1 until the week after St. Patrick's Day, and then you might get a day or two where there's some sun in there, but it's you get nuisance snow like. A quarter to half of an inch, so you got to clean the car off, but there's no delays. Travel sucks, but there's no delays or anything like that. It's not a fun place to live, but I would much rather live where the air hurts my face than have to deal with tornadoes, earthquakes, poisonous snakes, or crocodiles,
Yeah. Hey, look, what's the joke? I think I've seen it on Facebook a few times, the meme. A guy shoveling snow over his head. We don't get hurricanes. We don't get hurricanes. We don't get hurricanes.
Yeah, right.
I've been to Florida in the summer. It sucks. It's hot.
Yeah.
And let's be fair. The racing in Florida is not the racing in New York. So, hey, look, Florida's probably better this time of the year, no doubt about it. But you know what? I'll take my April to November racing season over anybody's. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, will you be able to do any live element with the racing that's happening down there beyond the short track Super Series stuff?
Nope. We are doing just the short track Super Series.
Yeah.
So, obviously Dirt Car and the Super Dirt Car Series has their prior arrangements that they're with. So, hey, that's fine. That's their deal. So we'll be doing what we'll do, and hopefully maybe someday we'll have that opportunity to maybe do some of those. But right now we're pleased with what we have, and we'll be doing our Brett Deo stuff at Alltech, and hope for an exciting 3 days of racing, and and talking with some drivers and getting a feel. I think you're going to be everybody's going to be surprised and excited about the car counts at Alltech. Everybody's really excited about the chance to go to Florida and race. For those 3 nights and have a couple days off, and then head over to Volusia and do some more racing.
Right.
So I think it's good for everybody. A lot of opportunity to make some money, and to go to Florida. And again, if you're from the Northeast, getting to Florida in February, who cares? There really is nothing better. Bad day in Florida in February is still better than a good day in New York in the snow. So.
Yes, I will. I'll agree with that for sure. And there's no hurricanes, right?
No, and there's no hurricanes.
You going to be able to do any of the YouTube stuff then? To what extent are you restricted? Is it all going to be print and photography? Or are you going to be able to do the post-race
recaps? No, we're going to do it all, man. Go big or go home, right? I mean, if you're going to go all in. So
sure.
Right now, that's the plan. Go all in and get it done. I know Bill Foley will be there with me, so
Nice.
Bill Foley and I will probably do some recap videos. We'll do some interviews with drivers. We've been already kind of playing out our coverage online. But Dirt Track Digest TV, we're hoping to incorporate some driver interviews and so on into the program and a lot of that kind of stuff. So we want to take this to the next level, with scoring and interviews and all that kind of stuff on the broadcast. So that's our plan, that's our hope, and hopefully we'll be able to pull that off. I think we will. I have confidence in us and Flex Media Group, which is Matt Thomas and all of his guys, who we partner with on all this stuff. And I think fans will be really excited to see the product that we're going to be able to put out.
Awesome.
We were pleased with how 2019 went, and I think we're only going to get better in 2020. So it's again, our goal every year is to do things better and improve. I think we've done that. Since we started, we've come a long way, and we got some more things we're going to do. So I think we're heading in the right direction. So
I still remember. I still remember talking with you in the pits and at any number of races for that matter, or in the days leading up to a big race at a different auxiliary weekly track or something, and you just being so mad because you guys were struggling so hard to get respect and credentials and get access and stuff like that.
It took a long time to earn, the respect that we've got. We're very fortunate. It's again, as I said, old school promoters have certain thoughts and ideas of what they want to see and what value people bring. And Kim Shea, Utica Rome always, I like to quote her all the time. Does it bring value? And I think what we've proven over time now, that Dirt Track Digest has value when we cover your event. We're very fortunate. A ton of people come to our site, and we had a spectacular year when you look at traffic and stuff. We were able to talk to some sponsor, possible advertisers at the Northeast Racing Product Show, and we are widely open with our numbers and how many people check out our website and so on. And we had some people go, wow.
Right.
They were really blown away by our traffic, how long people stay on our site, how many times people come back, and how little when they get there they leave. Mm-hmm. We have a very low bounce rate, percentage wise. So,
right.
When you get compliments from companies, that means a lot. We've had some compliments from racetracks and thanking us for our coverage and what we've been able to do, and that's an awesome feeling. Like you look at where we started and how much work and the time, the effort, and all that goes into running Dirt Track Digest. Mm-hmm. It's a ton of work. And we always joke, the three of us that own it, or the main owners here, we always joke about it's smoke and mirrors. We're like, don't look behind the curtain. Is the we make, because it's myself, George, and GT. We do the work. During the year. When it comes to posting press releases and results and updates and all that other stuff that happens. And again, we're fortunate. We got an amazing team of people. I mean, we always talk to our guys. You got to be a small part of that at Super Dirt Week this year with helping out with the live broadcast and all that stuff. And it's just an amazing group of people that we're fortunate enough to have on our team. And it's so much fun. I love the people. I love spending time with them. I love being with them. And I couldn't ask for anything more. I never would have expected where we are and how. We had goals and what we wanted to accomplish. But I would never expect us to be where we are. And again, it's because of the great people we have working for us, right, and writing for us and taking photos and helping with videos and all the different things that, these people do. And let's be fair, the drivers have been awesome and their support. I was busting balls with Matt Williamson and Matt Shepard. I bought them beers at the banquet. I said, hey guys, here, thanks for putting up with all the videos this year. And Shepard busted my chops like, I'm done, Mallett. I'm out. You got 1 year. I'm like, thanks, Matt. But it's because the drivers allow us to do what we do, and again, and it's the support of the fans. But it's so much fun doing the video stuff and getting the chance to cover racing in a different element in a different way. It's just fun. And I've enjoyed it. I've always loved doing interviews. Let's be fair. That's what I do. I mean, whether it's for a story or for the for the video or whatever. But that's the great element, getting to know these drivers and getting to spend time with them. And the highs, the lows. I mean, I can't remember the last time I really enjoyed covering a story like I enjoyed covering the World Finals and the battle between Matt Williamson and Matt Shepard.
It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. I mean, that was just a lot of fun. You know, you're just in this element of, you know, I can't imagine the pressure that both of them were under. You know what I mean? Like, you're going for a Super Dirt Car Series championship. Mm-hmm. You know, for Matt Shepard, he was looking for 8. You know, for Matty Williamson, he's looking for 1.
Right.
You know, and it was just great. You know, and the Centennial weekend, covering that was a ton of fun. Yeah. $100,000 on the line. I might never get to do that again in my career.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun. It was a great time. Yep. So, you know, this year's been a lot of fun. And again, I don't know if we'll get to do it. I mean, and I got to be honest, those live shows that we got to do at Super Dirt Week, man, were a blast.
They were fun, weren't they?
I mean, the guys were great. Other than Matt Williamson wouldn't drink White Claw. I mean, that really set me back. I was pretty annoyed. But
I tell you what, about Super Dirt Week, right?
Yep.
I was out in Topeka, and one of the videographers and video producers and streamers from up in Minnesota that comes down for the event that we do at the Stormont Vale Event Center in Topeka, Kansas. His name's Nate Ober. He watched the post-race interviews, and he thought they were great. He thought that all the coverage that Dirt Track Digest was doing, even though it was pre-race, post-race, he said that the coverage was awesome. He really enjoyed watching that stuff. So you and Adam were doing a good job, and the drivers, of course, you know, they were playing along with it too.
Yeah, the drivers are great. I mean, Billy Decker, I mean, he was awesome. Mm-hmm. You know, and that was a fun side of Billy Decker we got to see. Yeah. You know, playoff beard and everything, you know. Although I do regret the stupid question. I didn't ask it the right way. I'm still annoyed with myself about asking him about the 358 race and running it. Like, I knew he ran it, but I didn't think about Oswego. I was thinking, I don't know. I knew he ran Syracuse, but the crossover between Oswego and Syracuse at times confuses me, and I forget, and I'm like, what a stupid question. You know, you just do that sometimes. You ask a question, I'm like, man, I'm an idiot.
Yes, I've been there plenty of times.
Yeah, right. Like, you're like, man, I'm stupid. What am I asking this guy?
Yep. Yep. There's been times where I'll be trying to remember the 2 or 3 questions that I wanted to ask them, and I end up getting lost in my own thoughts, trying to remember the next question, that I don't pay good enough attention to what they're answering, and I inadvertently, the next question I come out with, they just answered.
Mm-hmm.
It's never fun. So, I mean, it's certainly relatable. I can understand.
Yeah, all right. You know, and you got to be thankful to the guy that only looks like you're half an idiot, not a full idiot.
Right.
You know, what sucks is, like, you ask that question when you're doing just a handheld interview for a story. Like, okay, I screwed that one up. But when you're doing it live on the internet or you're doing it in a video, you're like, what an idiot I am. And you're thinking, I'm an idiot in your head as the guy's answering the question. And you know he's thinking the same thing.
Very true. It's fun. I can't get over, like, how accommodating the drivers are at this point. I mean, it didn't used to be this busy, but they are very busy after a race. You know, with all the interview requests and the amount of time that they spend with any number of reporters from any number of outlets after race concludes, it's pretty busy. Was there anything else that you wanted to hit on tonight? Anything else that was on your mind or that's pressing?
I'm trying to think. You know, you touched on a ton of stuff.
Yes.
You know, we covered from top to bottom here.
Tried to, anyway. Tried to.
Yeah, I don't think. You know, I mean, for me, I'm looking forward to the Hangover 2.0 at Utica Rome. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be a really good time on New Year's Day. You know, Tanner Robinson was involved in the first Hangover event back at Ransomville Speedway.
Yeah, for a long time.
A long time ago. And now she's helping coordinate and promote the Hangover 2.0 at Utica Rome on New Year's Day. So it's going to be a fun weekend. You know, we got a fun weekend. It's in the middle of the week, but I'm going to call it a weekend because it's 2 days. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a party at the clubhouse on, Wednesday night? Mm-hmm. Or Tuesday night. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what day New Year's is. Tuesday night, there we go. And then we have a party at the clubhouse. Everybody's going to stay at Vernon Downs or camp at the racetrack. And then on Wednesday, we get going with a Hangover 2.0.
Nice.
It's going to be a blast. It'll be a lot of fun. We got 50 entries so far.
Not bad.
That's pretty awesome. Fernanduro, 50 entries, I'll take it.
Yep.
That's going to be a lot of fun. And I went to a hockey game last night with Dirk Northeast director of series and sanctioning, Dean Reynolds, and we were talking about it. He's like, I'm pumped. I'm like, he's got a ride, so he's excited. I'm excited to see it get stuck. So
how busy is he? I mean, he's still juggling. He's juggling ESS stuff too, right?
Yeah, he's still juggling ESS and doing that. So he's got a lot on his plate, obviously. But hey, that's one day off that everybody can have, and I'm sure it'll be a good time.
For sure.
So hopefully we'll see a ton of race fans out for that. It's been a while. Ransomville hasn't done it for a number of years because just the last one they had was tough.
Yeah.
It was a warm day in January, and that's all bad. You want it cold. So I'm hoping for Utica's sake, this is the one day that we have crappy weather.
Right, finally, right? you know that.
The one time we need crappy weather, we hope we get crappy weather. So I know it's funny, but if you're interested in the Hangover at Utica Rome, pits open at 8:30, grandstands at 11. Race is going to start at noon. And if you want to get in the grandstands, $5, that's it.
Can't go wrong.
Pit passes are $20 for the day. Children 3 to 13 are just $10. Children under 2 are free. But just come out, have a good time, celebrate the new racing season. For me, hey, that'll be race number 1 of 2020, and that'll get me back on par with everybody else. Right now, I'm about 120. I had a good season, but you get that'll get you back on par with everyone else. So, and then it starts from there. Then it goes, and get some indoor racing in January. Then February, right back to outdoor racing, thank God. Then March, outdoor racing, and back into April, and here we are.
Right on.
So it can't come soon enough because God, winter sucks.
It does. It does. Online for more on the Hangover 2.0, UticaRomeSpeedway.com. Mike, man, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us here for a little while on this one. It's been a bit since we were able to get a 31st lap out there to everybody, but hopefully they enjoyed the conversation, a little bit of a look behind the proverbial curtain, if you will, to finally have you share some of your thoughts on this stuff. Glad you could come on, and hopefully everything goes well for you here over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, let's hope, man. I need to get over the boredom that I got going on right now.
Right.
Because, God, I am bored. And I can only watch so much wrestling.
There's a lot of it now.
Hey, I love it. Don't get me wrong. Mondays, Wednesdays, and some Fridays I get to watch. But, man, it sucks not having racing. I know race drivers want a break and they need the time off, but it does not help me. I don't know if it's the sun going down at 5 o'clock or lack of racing, but it all sucks.
Right, that it does. Well, here's the racing forthcoming. Get indoors and get some of that taken care of, and you're going to be outdoors in what, 4, 8, another 10 weeks, 10, 12 weeks.
Yeah, something like that. I don't even know. I can't count. I haven't done the countdown because I'm like, I know I got 22 class days of school left before break. I know that. Actually, 21 now. 22 is today, so we're at 21.
20?
Or no, that's midterms. 11. There you go. Yep.
We have a day off in the middle of next week, and we have a half day tomorrow, so I have 9 class days and 3 hours before break.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a half day tomorrow. Then we got a conference day. We get to go.
Conference days are the worst.
Middle of the week, it's a Wednesday, so it's a Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and then we got a full 5-day week before we go on break. But we're getting close.
Look, I'd rather be teacher man than having those half days. Believe me, you know.
Yes. It's been interesting to say the least.
They are not. That's the problem.
I've been doing a lot of individualized regulation and emotional coping and emotional growth stuff to help some of the kids in our class. Because we got some kids that need some coaching on that stuff. So I've been doing a lot of trainings with that stuff. So at least it's stuff that I'm at least interested in. I don't know if everybody else in the room is enjoying it as much as I am, but at least it's not as.
Hey, you know what? That's all that matters. Look, when I have the opportunity in the classroom to do some stuff that I think will help me build better relationships with kids, I'm all for it.
Yep.
Absolutely. You know, so there's other days though. There's some of the stuff you're doing like, come on, this does not help me or my students. And, you know, let's be fair. You know, and I know that teachers make the worst listeners. All about us, man. All about us. I guess it's the same for racetrack announcers too. Let's be fair.
Well, on that note, man, if I don't talk to you before, but I'm sure that you will, have a great Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'll catch up with you here in the next couple of weeks. I appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Hey, no problem. Anytime. I had a good time tonight, and hey, I'm free all winter, so you need some help at some point. I'm here. Hey, you know what? Maybe I could even make a trek out to the new studio at some point.
You do need to see it. You'll be surprised.
That would be fun. That would be fun. And I cannot wait to see your show notes. You know, and I want a detailed list of what we're not going to talk about.
I'll be sure to have a script ready. This building that we're in was built in the 1930s. It's actually still designated as a fallout shelter, and it's got all concrete walls.
It's older than the building we used to be in.
Yes. I think so, at least on par. But yeah, it was closed down. It was last used as a school in like 83 or 84.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's quite the building. You got to come out and see it.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, man. We'll make a plan and we'll get together.
All right, man. Sounds good. You have a great night.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you later.
Yep.
That's going to do it for this edition of the 31st Lap. We appreciate Mike Mallett from Detroit Digest coming in and hanging out with us for a little while this evening. We'll see you again in a couple weeks. Have a great Christmas. Happy New Year. If we don't see you before, that's going to do it for this one. See you next time.